Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. I hope you enjoyed the coot. It was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was fun for you too. And we're really glad you came to our very first webinar for DHS Green Earth. And we're going to make this interactive. So just to go over really quickly, if in the seminar you have a question, you can either type it out in the comments box, or you can raise your hand and we will make our mediators, Fiona and Trisha, will get to you on that. And they'll make sure, there's also like a little FAQ section at the end of every slide deck that we have. So we're going to be going over those questions there, but if you have like an immediate question, just type it in the comments box or raise your hand. Yep. Okay, and to just go over everything, we obviously finished the code already, and Casey's going to be talking about plastic waste, then Sai's going to go into PP pollution, I'm going to go into the cons of recycling, and then we're going to announce our first donation drive.
Oh. Okay, so first I'm just going to be going over some basic plastic waste facts that I found while researching on the internet. So, first of all, today, single-use plastics make up 40% of plastic produced every year. They may only be used for a few minutes or hours, but may stay in the environment for hundreds of years. Plastic is one of the most widely used and cheapest materials in the world, and if something isn't made from plastic, it's most likely wrapped in plastic. We use around 5 trillion plastic bags a year worldwide. Every year, about 8 million tons of plastic waste escapes into oceans from coastal nations, which is equivalent to setting 5 garbage bags full of trash on every foot of coastline around the world. Millions of animals are killed every year by plastics. Nearly 700 species, including endangered species, have been affected by plastic. Nearly every species of seabird eats plastics. 100,000 marine creatures a year die from plastic entanglement, and approximately 1 million seabirds also die from plastic. Most deaths of animals are caused by entanglement or starvation, or they are strangled by abandoned fishing gear or discarded six-pack rings. Plastic waste is very difficult, almost impossible to retrieve once in the ocean, especially once they are broken down into microplastics. The solution to this would be to improve waste management systems and recycling, better product design that takes into account the short life of disposable packaging, and reduction in the manufacturing of single-use plastics. So the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, you might have heard of it. It is a bunch of plastic garbage collecting in the Pacific Ocean. 10% of the 100 million tons of plastic produced every year worldwide ends up in the sea either by falling off of ships and platforms or getting blown in from land. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is estimated to be close to the size of 2 Texases combined, or the size of India, Europe, and Mexico combined. Most of the plastic in it is broken down into small pieces like microplastics that sea life can ingest. The trash inside the Great Pacific Garbage Patch mostly comes from Canada, Asia, and the US. So, how you can prevent garbage from floating into the ocean is by picking up trash whenever you see it and properly disposing of it, reducing the amount of plastic that you use, and participating in beach cleanups to collect trash from wild spaces if you can. So second of all, I'm going to be talking about plastic water bottles. Most of you already probably know about how bad they are for the environment, but just in case you know someone who continuously uses them or you yourself do it, I just wanted to remind you how bad they are and try to change your mind about them. So first of all, we know that they require a lot of energy to manufacture, and they also pollute the environment. They aren't biodegradable, and instead they turn into microplastics, which will always remain on Earth. Microplastic is when plastic is broken down by sea, sunlight, wind, and wave actions. They are often 1/5 of an inch across and have been found in every corner of the globe. When plastic degrades, toxic chemicals are released into the environment. Producing water bottles requires fossil fuels which are non-renewable. Energy is used for the entire lifespan of a plastic bottle for transportation, storage, and the disposal of the bottle. In the US, about 76 million barrels of oil are used for these actions in 1 year, which is equivalent to the amount of oil that can supply 4.3 million cars in the same span of time. The US also throws away enough plastic bottles a week to encircle the world 5 times. These fossil fuels contribute to greenhouse gas emissions and climate change. Oh wait, go back. This is on the right is a nice little infographic that Trisha made in 6th grade, and you know it's pretty nice. It's very good. Okay. So number 3, the extraction of water to be sold as bottled water harms the environment because when water is extracted, many natural water supplies dry up, which has negative effects on the environment. For example, in California, there are large-scale droughts, and the removal of water compounded on that makes droughts more likely to occur. The over-extraction of water resources change entire habitats and ecosystems by making the area drier and threatening the livelihood of all living things in the area. Plastic water bottles also create plastic pollution and harm marine ecosystems. Most plastic littered ends up in the ocean. Animals like birds or fish can mistake plastic for food, which can clog up their digestive system and eventually starves them to death. And once the plastic is ingested by them, it can move up the food chain and could potentially be eaten by humans in the form of microplastics, which are too small for the human eye to see. And this is a picture of a bird who died from swallowing plastic. You may have seen it before. Yeah. So the solution to all of this, the most obvious one is to use a reusable water bottle. And they not only save the environment, but also they save money in the long run. And if you don't have anywhere to fill your water at home, you can always buy a water filter to clean and filter your tap water to make it safe to drink. Second of all, you can properly dispose of the water bottles if you need to use them, and make sure to recycle them, or if there are no recycling bins, make sure to throw it in the trash. Stop littering. And number 3, you can spread awareness to other people. The more people that stop using plastic water bottles, the better off we will be in the long run. You can call out people for using them and strongly encourage them to convert to reusable ones. Thank you. Anybody have any questions? We can just move on now if nobody has any questions.
Okay. Oh, and I'd just like to, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'd just like to note, Kaci said like the solution is to like buy a reusable water bottle. If you don't use water bottles like from the get-go, then don't start buying a reusable one, because like, you know, to like make the metal or like the long-lasting plastic, that takes carbon emissions. We're saying that like if you use plastic water bottles on a daily basis, and you know you're going to continue using them, it's better to buy a reusable one to reduce the amount of trash and litter going out into the world.
I have a question. So if metal isn't the safest material or the most environmentally friendly material, what other material besides plastic would you recommend to use?
Me?
Yes, or like Kaci, you know? Because I know like silicone is a pretty versatile material. I think some of them, like some water bottles have like silicone coatings on them, but it's also like mixed in with plastic. So is there another material you'd think?
I actually don't know of any like less carbon emitting long-term usage
With, like,
materials.
I know glass is like, it's pretty like not as safe because it's like
Because
really
glass.
fragile, but environmental wise, would that probably be a better alternative?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know I saw a chart of like how much carbon emissions it takes to like make each material. I think we would have to like look at something like that. That's a good question. I never thought about that, you know?
Same.